Peter, thank you for your time today. Can you give us an overview of your organization and also your role within?
Yeah, I'm Peter Meijer from Single Spark, from the Feed Calculator. And the Feed Calculator is an app for livestock farmers and feed mills. And with the Feed Calculator they can formulate their own balanced and least cost feed recipes. That's quite innovative. Up to now only the big feed companies were able to optimize feed recipes. But with the Feed Calculator we integrated scientific knowledge and software integrated in a simple to use app for farmers and feed mills. So that's the Feed Calculator, and I'm the managing director.
And how do you collect and use data within your operations? Because since you developed this app, so how do you use those data?
Yeah, the data is very important in this app because farmers use this app in 3 steps. They select the type of animal they want to make feed for. In step 2, they select the ingredients that they have available on the market and the price for the ingredients. And then the app will come with an optimized recipe, a least cost balanced recipe. All those data is collected on the background. So we have data of millions actually at the moment, millions of prices of ingredients, from maize to sorghum to soybean cake, from many countries all over the world. And we can see that by region what the price is of all those ingredients. Yeah. So those data are very important. They're important for us, so we can see what our customers do. It's important for checking our application, but it's also interesting for many other organizations.
And do you use an industry benchmark to measure these data that you have?
No, we don't use industry benchmarks because we have so many data that we have our own benchmarks. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that the app is mainly targeted for farmers who wish to, formulate or calculate their own feed costs. And in this case, do they also share the data that they have with other partners within the supply chain, or do you, as an app provider, share the data within the chain?
Yeah. So what we do for the farmers, we can see in a certain region what kind of ingredients farmers use in their recipes and what the price is of their recipes. So we can inform farmers that we say, we look into your region and we see that the feed recipe you use has a high price when we look to other farmers in your region. Maybe you should formulate again a recipe and fill in the new prices of the new ingredients. So the farmer fills in the new prices and he will formulate a new recipe. So with those data we can inform farmers to say, it's smart to fill in the new prices to optimize your recipe and to have again a least cost recipe. So those data is important for the farmers, but it's also important for other organizations, institutions that like to know what is the price of maize in country X or region X, or what's the price of sorghum or wheat or soybean cake. Those are important data and records, so that's very interesting because we have so much data of so many records that it gives a complete picture of all the ingredients in those countries. And it's interesting for producers of premixes or producers of other additives. Why concentrates, for example? If a concentrate is in the Feed Calculator as an ingredient, let's say 5% concentrate, then the Feed Calculator will optimize the other 95%. So the farmer has again a balanced feed. And for those concentrate suppliers, they can see what kind of recipes do the users of my product make. So which other ingredients do they add to the recipes? So they know the other ingredients, and with that information they can make better concentrates or better premixes. So for premix and for concentrate supplies, it's also interesting information. And for universities that do research about price fluctuations in feed prices or in food prices. Yeah.
And with this huge amount of data that you collect, what do you foresee or what have you seen as some of the greatest challenges that you faced with trying to put together all this data and to share the data?
Yeah. First of all, with data, it's very important that you have reliable data. So that's the first good research that you have to do, that you say this is reliable data. So why is it reliable? Because there are so many records. That's very good. There's so many farmers. We have at the moment 20,000 downloads. We started half a year ago. 7,000 active users that make once a month a recipe. So you can, well, if you count it up, you have many records. So that makes it reliable, many different sources. The challenges are, how do you use that data? How do you pack it together to have useful data for a farmer? So what is interesting for a farmer? Because with a lot of data, you have to compromise it to a useful report. And that really depends on the demand of a customer, what he wants to know.
And how do you think data sharing can be made more effective within the poultry supply chain?
Now, for example, the data that we have are very interesting for concentrate suppliers. So that really in the supply chain, they can make better concentrates based on the data that we supply, because they know exactly what kind of ingredients are used by all those farmers together with their concentrates. So they can make better concentrates. So that helps other people in the supply chain, other companies. What I believe is that sharing data through the whole supply chain informs more people, and you can work better together. So yes, it is important. Yeah.